This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks show number 386, recorded on January 10th, 2019. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios in what was a beautiful day today. But, Mike, I'm looking at my Surface RT, which is the permanent weather station here at the AverageGuy.tv studios, and I'm seeing a winter weather advisory for tomorrow night.
That's what I've heard. I saw something on Facebook about it, actually. It could get, I think Omaha's only supposed to get an inch or two, but I think southeast Nebraska might get, 6 to 7 inches, something like that.
It's so great. Bread and milk will clear off the shelves. There's that comedian who's like, everybody's going to make a milk sandwich.
Uh-huh.
So winter weather is coming. And of course, the last time I did poker and cigars over at my son's house was when we got that 8 inches of snow. That was that night. So hopefully Mike and I are going to try to get together this weekend. Hopefully that won't mess it up. But of course, for this show, and we'll have some pretty good show notes out at the AverageGuy.tv. Don't forget, you can join us live on our mobile app. Easy to subscribe to, easy to get. It's free. HomeGadgetGeeks.com is where you go to get that. An Android, iPhone available for you. We'll thank our Patreon subscribers who sponsor that app on an annual basis. If you are a Patreon subscriber, thanks for all that you do. Christmas time is an easy time. I think a lot of people go through their Patreon subscriptions or their stuff, and they kind of start making a judgment call, like, worth it, not worth it. I got to pay the bills, right? It's Christmas time. And nobody's quit. So for those of you who are on Patreon and still supporting us, I appreciate that a bunch. For those of you who haven't done it, there's still time to do it. If you want to do it, plans as little as $1. Head out to the AverageGuy.tv/Patreon to get that done. Big thanks to Paul Breran. Mike, Paul is easily the most popular podcaster that we bring on here. Like,
really?
Oh yeah. Like
that doesn't surprise me though. He brings so much content every time he's on. I was actually sad I had to miss it last week. It was Hannah and I's anniversary, so you were kind enough. You're like, go out to dinner. I'm like, yes, I should. We went out to dinner and enjoyed ourselves. But man, I'm always sad when I miss that. When I miss him. Yeah,
I was bummed not to have you, but Paul, we went an hour and 45 minutes on that show, and no emails from anyone who said, man, that was too long. It was all about, Breran brought it. So Paul, thanks for your time and your effort there. And he's just a smart guy. He's so thorough, and he's just so consistent in what he does. And so great having him on the show. He is an easy one too. I just schedule him. He shows up. He talks. It's probably one of the highest rated shows that we do. So if you missed it, head back, Home Gadget Geeks, theaverageguy.tv/HGG385 would be the right number to get to. Lots of good show notes and lots of good information out there and lots of great conversation. Everybody loved it. Check it out as well. Mike, I'm glad you took last week off. It was good. You said to me, it's my anniversary. And I'm like, dude, you are not going to be here on your
Listen to the wise man who's been married for a while. You don't mess that up.
No,
right?
you got to take that night off. No, you don't. At least when you're young. When you get older, you're kind of like, although 30 this year for us.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, February. Let's see what day that is. I got to actually plan for this one. Because at 30, you can't mess that one up, right?
Very true.
Well, it's a Sunday, which is good. February 24th is the date. It's a Sunday. So we'll probably do some fun stuff coming up. I said, hey, trip? You want to do a trip? It's 30. Should we? And she's like, nah, we're moving this summer. And so let's do all hands on deck. We got a lot of things to fix here before we can go. So all hands on deck as we go forward. Mike, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's dig in a little bit. Not as much going on in the Facebook group, but some deals out there. You guys have been kind enough. Kevin, actually, a couple good deals before we dig in a little bit. Kevin threw out there. Well, first of all, Justin threw out his cigar humidifier data right there on his app in the group. So you want to keep up with that. Mike, you notice I didn't move it. I've got the original Xbox sitting here. We'll talk about that here in a second. My humidifier is
still there. I love it.
I know.
Like I said, I would have known what that was, though, until you brought it over to my house. I didn't recognize it. It actually, from here, looks like a clock. Looks like kind of an old school wood clock with a dial in the middle.
Let's just make sure that's the humidity piece in there. It's not a very good box. My kids gave it to me. I can't just throw it out. Like, I'm gonna have to drop it and break it at one point on accident.
Oh, shoot.
Oops.
Or just order like 500 cigars. Like, oh, sorry, it doesn't fit. It looks like I'm gonna need a nice big one.
I'm sorry, I can't bring 500 over to the party.
Jim, is that a beer fridge? No, it's my humidor.
Wow. You got it like on a trolley.
Yeah.
Like pulling it in. So Justin, thanks for posting that. Kevin had posted, and these kind of go pretty fast from Woot.com, EVGA 1050 Ti. I think graphics cards have come back into the realm of affordability again. If you need or want to do that, that's still actually available. That doesn't happen very much on Woot. That's still out there and available. Kevin had also posted a 24-inch Dell Ultra Sharp, very nice monitor, man. I remember when these were, $229, $250, $279. Also, computers.woot.com. Let's see if it's still available for right now. That one did sell out. It had been going for $119 and $6 shipping. So that's one of those. And then last but not least, he had posted a Wi-Fi connected garage door opener that could be interesting from Nex. $70. And so some interesting deals out there if you want to stay in and stay on with what's going on from the Facebook group, theaverageguy.tv theaverageguy.tv. No, that's not true at all. Facebook.com. Jim, you got to think about, like, I was trying to do like 8 things at once. Facebook.com/groups/theaverageguy. Mike, you've got a reminder from you said this a couple of weeks ago, but it's maybe more urgent about Plex Pass.
Yeah, just always reminding people to, use your Plex perks. I think they reset every year is what I think they do. So maybe you've used your Plex perks from last year. You should have a new one this year. It might go when your subscription ups, but just be sure you're checking into those. You get a nice 20% discount from Western Digital. So I actually just recently, I think I mentioned this, but I ordered 2 new drives for the Unraid box. Those just came. Got them installed. The one thing I will say is I do wish that on the WD site you could price match what their exact drive from them is on Amazon, because with the 20%, I was only slightly below what they were selling for Amazon. I think Amazon, they're like $109 for a WD Red 4 terabyte, $119 on their website, so $10 more, but it still is free shipping on their site as well. It is the ground shipping. So, but just if you're going to do a big purchase like that, if you were going to do a big bulk purchase, that's the way to go, right? That's where you save the most money, is when you get on there and when you're doing a big bulk purchase. So yeah, just be sure you're using those.
I saw Newegg had some 5 terabyte drives for $110. And that's actually not bad when you think about the 10 terabytes are going for $279, I want to say, if you're in that space. Maybe 3. The 8 terabytes are, $250. If you for the we're not talking about the external versions where you can find those for 8 terabyte Seagates are $150, a little bit less. So, but I saw these 5 terabyte ones. That's not a bad Western Digital, I think it was. So you might want to.
Were they Reds?
Probably. I'd have to look.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good deal.
The point is, I think that deal's gone, but I think if you're in let's just look. If you're in the market for hard drives, it now continues to be a great time to do it. And SSDs in particular continue to drive their way down. And so you just might want to. I saw 1 terabyte the other day, and I almost just pulled the trigger. I was like, I don't need it. Although I am kind of compiling parts for that, and I think I'm just going to start get a few parts in as you see a deal. Grab this, get that. 1 terabyte SSD, not a bad little acquisition for your OS drive.
Yeah, not at all.
I think. You also picked up some extra equipment for your Unraid box.
Yeah, so this is, Jim, this is one of those, like we get a project you just want to do. You want to do it for a while and you have it. So this is nothing new. For the listeners here, and especially the really tech-savvy listeners here, can be like, oh, man, Mike's really behind the ball. I don't know why this is so new to him and he hasn't done it before. But really, for me, link aggregation is something I had never really messed with before, mainly because a lot of my boxes before now had been Windows 10 boxes. And link aggregation, NIC teaming is just, Windows 10, they had it for a little bit. It was actually not supposed to be released. They have since patched over that. So you can't do any sort of NIC teaming on Windows 10. And obviously on my Mac, I only have one NIC, so I never had to deal with it. So really had no use case for it. So I never really dove in. Well, Unraid makes NIC teaming or bonding, whatever you want to call it, extremely easy. I mean, drop dead simple. And if you have the hardware for it in terms of your Switch, then you might as well do it. So I grabbed 2 extra NICs for the Unraid box, threw them in there. They don't need to be high quality NICs. These are just the TP-Link extra NICs you can get in there, gigabit links. So I have a total of 3 NICs in there. Super easy in Unraid. You just go in, click, okay, I'm going to bond these 2 NICs to the top one. Done deal. The fun part for this, though, is getting in the Cisco switch, because what I have done with my Cisco switch is I went on eBay and I purchased a used one. So if you guys also, and this is another kind of reminder that a lot of this enterprise gear, so we're starting to get to a time now where gigabit enterprise grade switches are being retired. So you're starting to see a lot more of them show up. Before, a few years ago, you were only seeing, the 100 meg switches, the smart switches. So I'm talking PoE managed switches. And so now you're starting to see those pop up on eBay because they're being retired. I got one, and I think the only reason it was so cheap is because the faceplate, they didn't have the faceplate for it. So there's it looks very just bare metal. It's silver. You couldn't even tell what brand it is by looking at it. But it's Cisco. It's a 3750G, and I got it for $20. I mean, off eBay. So it's in a 48 port managed PoE switch. Pretty cool. So I went in there, but that switch is so old, it actually doesn't even have a GUI. I mean, it does have a very simple form of a GUI, but you can't do much on it. So anything you want to do configuration-wise is all through their CLI. So I got in there, got in the CLI, and I teamed up 3 of the NICs on the switch using LACP, which is 802.3 AD standard. And that is, by the way, if you are doing this and you have the switch to do it, when you go into Unraid, that's the version, that's the bonding mode you want to use. I think they call it mode 4, which is that 802.3 AD setting, which is the best. So when you get that, you get added throughput. So essentially, I'm getting 3 gigabit worth of speed to the Unraid box, and you're also getting redundancy. So you get that redundancy. If one of those NICs goes down for some reason, if one of the cord gets cut, whatever, you've still got 2 other cords and you've got more bandwidth. And I did notice this. I run Plex on my Unraid box, but then I'm also using it to back up a lot of files. So a lot of my machines will hit that Unraid box really hard at the same time, and then I'll also have Plex running. And sometimes if I had something that was copying to or from the Unraid box and using that entire gigabit pipe, 2 computers would get really slowed down when you're trying to use it. So now with 3 gigabit worth of pipe over there, now obviously from one machine to the Unraid box, I'm not getting anything more than a gigabit because that's all I have on each individual machine. But if you have multiple machines hitting this box, it might be something to look at. So it was pretty fun. It was one of those projects, like I said, this is probably typical everyday stuff if you are in IT, if you're in network management or anything like that. But if you're a home user, might be something you haven't experienced before. So I guess 2 pieces of advice. It's fun to play with a managed switch if you have the opportunity. If you have the cash, go out and buy one new. But if you don't, there's plenty of good enterprise grade ones that are out on eBay for extremely cheap. And 2, start playing with NIC teaming. I know it's not something you can do with Windows 10, but it is something you can do with Unraid. And I know FreeNAS also has that, which is pretty nice.
You're quite the eBay sleuth. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your you say these deals and I'm like, how do you find these? Any tips? I mean, I go on eBay now. I get a little lost. I'll just admit, there's just so much crap out there.
There is,
and I can never seem to find the deals like you do. I did purchase. We'll talk a little bit about later. I was modding this original Xbox, and it's got an 8 gig IDE drive in it. Right, so pretty old. These are 2001. Let's remember how old these things are. So I went on eBay, and I found what I thought was a 320 gig IDE, like an old Maxter. Right now, there's an old brand name for you, and I thought it was IDE. When it got shipped here, I must have clicked the wrong one. It was SATA, and of course you can't use SATA on those. You could, but it's more difficult. But the SATA connector was broken. I mean, you on a SATA hard drive, you got those pins, and those pins sit on top of a plastic shelf that's got a little L to it, right? And so which way the thing goes, right? Because we're not smart enough to know left from right. So the computer people made it that way for us, right? So that whole thing was just broken off. And I tried it. I put it in a dock. I actually tried putting a cable in just to see if it was going to work. no deal. The good news is I contacted the seller on eBay. Now I paid $16 for this thing. 16. Like I was thinking, oh my God, this guy is gonna never answer my email. That's what I was thinking, right? Well, I said, hey, this thing was DOA when I got it. He's like, nope, here's a label. Just here's a return form. Just tell us if you want your money back or whatever. Sorry, send it back. I was at for $16, dude. I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, no kidding.
I honestly almost said, hey, could you just ship? I need an IDE one. Can you just ship an IDE drive and we'll call it good? It's going to cost you more to ship this thing back. But so how do you like, what are your, when you're on eBay, I just have not had great luck finding good deals. It seems like everything's priced the way it should be. You seem to find these deals. How do you do it?
So generally the two things I do, number one, do your research ahead of time, right? If I know a general category of what I'm looking for, I'll say, okay, I'm going for a managed switch. I go and check all the prices new. So make sure you know what the prices are new, and then say, okay, so that's for current gen, let's say Cisco switches or Unify. And then say, okay, if I go back and what you really want to do is make sure you've done your research on older models and make sure they have the features you want, right? So I knew I wanted gigabit. Well, what does that mean? Okay, I knew in this series of Cisco, I need the G on the end. So I know some general parameters of what I'm looking for. And then, so the second thing is go on there and be patient. Be super patient. Like, be willing to have this be a 2-week search because you're not going to find things day one. There's going to be new stuff that's coming out all the time. And then what I do is, I mean, it's literally as simple as searching for what I want in general, going on lowest price first. So searching and switching that, not best match, but lowest price. So you'll get to see things around generally what you want. You'll get to see maybe some other models of the Cisco switch. Maybe you'll see some other brands. Clicking on some of them, seeing what the bids are. Make sure you read the details on every single one of them. A lot of times they'll hide in the thing that it doesn't work. It's just for parts only. And then look down at the viewers have also looked at, and it's just looking through a combination of those, and eventually you'll find something. And if you're okay with cosmetic damage, like on the Cisco switch, the switch is perfectly fine. It just didn't have the faceplate on it. I don't care. It's down in my basement. I don't care what it looks like. So it's in a rack. Don't really care. I was really shocked actually on my R710. That one had 0 cosmetic damage. I really don't know how I got a good deal on that. It was purely luck of the draw. I had been searching around and it was something I was looking for. So yeah, just be super patient and then filter by the price and then have done your research ahead of time. It is extremely easy. Jim, I've almost done what you've done where there's a 3750G, which is the gigabit version. I'm clicking around so much trying to find these deals. I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet. I did find one super cheap, and it wasn't the gigabit version, right? It's just the 100 meg version, which is exactly what I didn't want. So just looking through that. And then, yeah, being willing to take that risk, though, because there have been items where you're like, oh, man, that's not what I was looking for. But, yeah, in general, I've had extremely good luck. And you know what, Jim? I think what it comes down to is if you buy used enterprise gear on eBay, there's a very good likelihood it's going to be in good condition, right? Used enterprise gear. I don't buy a lot of used consumer gear because that's been through the ringer. Who knows? Used enterprise gear, though, that's just been in a rack in a company and they're retiring it based on some sort of schedule they have. It probably hasn't even gone bad. And you're probably looking pretty decent. So enterprise gear on eBay, I think, is the way to go.
Yeah, it's been sitting in an air-conditioned space, basically eating caviar and enjoying champagne every day, and dust-free and well taken care of. In some cases, not in every case, but
right.
Yeah, that's a good clue. Okay, well, what I just need to do. Here's what I need to do. When I'm going to buy something, I should say, "Hey, Mike, can you check this out on eBay for me?" And you'll find me the right.
There, yeah, sure. I'll be their eBay sleuth. There we go.
I found that deal this is actually maybe even a little bit better, a little bit pricier than I thought, but a 5 terabyte Toshiba X300 for 139, but it's a gaming drive. It's got a little performance built into it. Let me see if I can get a link to share with everybody. This is the one I saw. Man, Newegg is just Newegg is really difficult to like share things with. Let me see if I can copy and paste this. This is kind of ugly. Let's see if that does anything. Is that clickable? That get you there? I think maybe it does. It does. I'll leave this in the show notes as well. But 5 terabytes, $140. Not too bad. I said 110 earlier. That's not necessarily true. But still not a bad little drive. I always kind of to compare them, I go, well, what would 10 terabytes be then at that same price? And that comes out to 280, which actually right now not too bad when we think about pricing. Get you 2 drives instead of 1. I don't know, Mike. Sometimes when we think about storage, having 1 10 terabyte drive, a little scary.
Yeah. Well, that was my plan. So I had planned to, in Unraid, your parity drive needs to be your biggest drive. That sets the standard of what you can go up to. And when I first made my Unraid box, I went with drives I had. And so I put in 4 terabyte as my parity. Since then, though, I'm like, man, should I upgrade that parity and do bigger drives? I'm like, well, I got 15 slots in the server chassis. I can just keep adding 4 terabyte drives, right? It distributes that risk a little bit. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket. A bunch of 4 terabyte drives. I'll just fill it up. And then as I start to go past that, that'll take me a long way to fill up. The only thing is, so when I got these 2 drives, I actually did, at this point, my motherboard only has 6 onboard SATA ports. So I had to go get the PCI card with the SATA ports on it, but still not a bad option. Yeah, so I have 15 total bays in this drive. So I think I'm just going to stick with 4 terabytes for now. They're at a good price point. For me, I'm not creating enough data each day that's not practical for me. So I think it makes perfect sense for my scenario.
I tell you what's getting me. So I because like this 5 terabyte drive, so we're going to talk about the Xbox a little bit later. But when I got the Xbox, I started loading games, and so I got Forza, and I got the I got the online version of it. There's no disc, right? You're downloading 63 gigs.
And here's a side note: even if you buy the disc, all it does is load the whole thing to the hard drive. So there's no point. Like the disc just authenticates that you own it at that point.
Yeah, but at least it probably loads the data from the drive and then just updates. Or does it load everything?
It loads it all. You have to wait for it to install. You put the disc in, and it brings down the entire 60, 70 gigs worth onto the hard drive.
60. So it was like, hey, we're going to download 66 gig. Is that okay? And I'll be honest, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, sure. I was so happy to have time. It was Saturday. I had some time the Xbox came in on Friday. Oh, shoot. Let's just talk about it now. The Xbox came in on Friday. I started setting some things up. And first I set it up out there. And I was like, and then Sarah was like, immediately after I set it up, Sarah was like, oh, I was going to watch some TV. And I'm like, okay, this is out. This is not going to work. Like it's coming back. So it's actually, if you're watching the video, it's actually on, I spun this monitor more around to a normal configuration, plugged it in there. So it's down here. I haven't been home all week, so I haven't even played it, which is kind of killing me. But so I got Forza, and it's like, oh, you own Forza now. So you can play it on your computer if you want. So I was like, oh, sweet. So I go to the Windows Store, start downloading it, and all of a sudden I start doing the math. I'm like, wait a minute. That was 65 or 70 gig. This is 65 or 70 gig. That's like 100 and, it's 150 gig coming down. And I'm like, I better check my Cox plan. Like, where am I at? Sure enough, I am like right up against the window and you're like, all of a sudden a free game becomes $10 or $20 because they charge you for the bandwidth, right? Coming down. Now today is the 10th.
I was gonna say, how long do you have until that resets?
My plan resets tomorrow on the 11th, and I'm at 92% or 940 gig. So I really have
60 gig to play with tonight.
80, yeah, I got about 80 gig. And so I'm not going to do anything. But man, when that thing resets, I'm going to download like a banshee. I picked up Xbox Live. So I got a 3-month subscription for that, for all those.
I was just going to ask for the clicking, right?
Yeah, for all the clicking,
the Bing searches, Bing points.
Yeah, Microsoft reward points. They took away the full year. So it's only 1 month and 3 months now. You can't get a full year. So I was like, that blows. So I did pick up a 3-month, and then I did do the free, maybe 14-day trial of the Game Pass. And so I haven't, and then I chickened out. So I did that, and then of course I chickened out on these games because I didn't have the bandwidth at that point. I do plan to do Xbox. I'll do Xbox Live and Game Pass on this. Although I don't know. I really haven't played Forza that much, and I got to get into it. But that was a huge dilemma. So I say all that to come back to the hard drive story. So was looking at I was going to download Forza on the computer, and it was like, you don't have enough room. And I'm like, what? So I start looking. Sure enough, my SSD doesn't have that much. It's like I have 120 gig SSD, and there's quite a bit taken up on my hard drive here. And I was like, well, so I need a spinner. So I was looking around. I got all these burst drives, and I was thinking, I don't want to pull drives out for burst. I mean, I want to leave them burst mining. So that's when this Toshiba drive kind of came in, 5 terabytes. Although for $140, pretty good deal. That would be great. The second I got it here, though, I think, I could put burst stuff on it.
Yeah.
And take a 1 terabyte drive, because 1 terabyte for gaming, don't you think? A 1 terabyte spinner for gaming would be just fine.
Yeah, you'll be totally fine. That's actually what I have. So I actually just use one of those, external, really flat, Seagate drives, because it does have to be 3.0. That's what I think the only requirement. It has to be larger than, I think, 500 gigs or something like that to use. So yeah, I have.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about on the Xbox. I got 1 terabyte. I have 1 terabyte on the Xbox. I'm good there.
Sorry, I was on the computer.
I was going to download Forza to my computer so I could play it here too.
Yeah.
And it was like, nope, you're out of space. And I was like, well, and I've never really set up this computer to be a gaming computer. And so it just has an SSD. Like, I never store anything here. The podcast stuff goes onto the Drobo, or the save files go onto the Moro data box.
But you have the Xbox, so how would you play it on the computer?
Well, I just thought there would be, you can play on both.
But yeah, okay.
So it's just like, well, I wonder what, like I own the game.
True.
Like, Forza's great. I mean, I love Forza.
Yeah.
I love it. And but that was one of those things that got me looking, and I was like, oh no, man, kind of sweet to have a 5 terabyte. And then I started thinking, okay, if I just start in mass, I got Game Pass, so you just start downloading games. You can download. I mean, you can all of a sudden just blow through your bandwidth cap pretty fast if you're just downloading games to have them.
I've yet, Jim, to cancel my unlimited package with Cox. I've had it and I've never let it go for that reason. Like, for games, just stuff that comes up unexpectedly that you just kind of want to not worry about it. So here you go, Jim. Just come over to my house. Bring the hard drive over. We'll get them downloaded, and then you can take it back to your.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, just give me an external drive. I'll load them up, and you can copy them over your.
Joy Cigar. Just download. So I need to get everything figured out so we can start gaming online.
Totally.
Yeah. I got to get that figured out. It's in
post-show gaming with Jim, Jim and Mike.
Yeah, we could broadcast it. Can you do that on Twitch? Is that how you do it?
Yeah, that's how I do it.
There you go. All right, we'll have to. I got to get what games are you playing on Twitch?
So I love Call of Duty Black Ops. Still one of my favorite games. I'm terrible at Fortnite, and Fortnite's better on the PC anyway. But yeah, Black Ops is really the one I like doing the most. But yeah, Forza 2. Oh, but I mean, the game I'm addicted to ever since Christmas is Red Dead Redemption. It is one of the best games I've ever played, but that's a single player play it through kind of. It's not. They have a multiplayer mode. I haven't tried it out, but it's mainly just a play through the story kind of thing.
Okay. Well, it's I need to get a little bit more time so I can sit down here, but this is perfect. I just turned my chair around and put my feet up.
Never go to bed.
That's it. I've cut a hole in the seat.
Yeah.
There's a little space in the floor. No, it's pretty great. So $199. I picked that up for $199 during the Christmas holidays. Worth every penny, and we'll start messing around with it and doing some more stuff. Great to have, and glad you talked me into it. It really started with the guys over at the DMZ, Digital Media Zone, with Josh and I can never say his name when on my show. I listen to him all the time, and but I can never say his name. So it'll come to me in just a second. There's somebody put it in the chat room. They don't listen to the show, so it's not like I'm going to offend them. But they've been talking Xbox for the longest time, and then you started talking about it. And I'm like, all right, I got to get in this. It's been a big surprise. Folks who know me are like, they look at me like,
you got an Xbox?
You got an X? You're going to game? Even the kids were a little taken aback by it. They're like, that's kind of weird. So,
well, like I said too, it's a great media box just in general. So Yeah, even if you don't play as many games on it, it's a perfect device to go up in that living room once you're done with the gaming side of it.
And very Windows 10-ish from a UI standpoint, because I know it is Windows 10. So
got Cortana built in.
Yeah, I need to try that. I haven't done the only app. What did I install on that thing right away? Because I wanted to get something on it. Not Skype, but and my memory is Mike. You're gonna have to put me in the old folks home, my friend. You are gonna have to put
Jim.
Richard. It's Richard Gunther. Yeah, I want to call him Roger. Like, listen, I've met Richard like several times. I listen to him every week, both Home On and at the Digital Media Zone. And whenever I try to talk about him on my show,
he's Roger.
I want to call him Roger. I don't know why that is. It's Richard, Josh Pollard, Richard Gunther, the DMZ. By the way, great podcast. If you're not listening to it, that is one that has become, I didn't listen to it. I listened to it for a while. I stepped away from it for a long time. I came back to it about a year ago, and man, I'm hooked on it. So if you're looking for another podcast besides this one, you grab that one, Digital Media Zone, and it's just some really good stuff. And those guys do quality work, unlike me, who can't even remember names. Mike, you got a new app for some reporting on Plex.
Yeah, and so what this all started because Plex actually came out with an update, and if you are someone who shares your Plex library with friends and family, that's part of Plex. You can add their account to have access to your server. There was really no way. You were always able to see who was what, like if someone was using your server at that time, right? Like, I can see that, my brother is watching, but there was no way to see any sort of statistics on who has watched what and what shows and movies are popular on your server. Well, Plex came out with an update to kind of show some of that basic information. You now get a graph of your output in your bandwidth, and you start to see statistics on which shows are watched and things like that. So they came out with a little bit of update, which is pretty good. And actually, I was pretty impressed with it. And to be totally honest, there has been 2 third-party apps that have done this that I really didn't know anything about. And I only recently started sharing my Plex server with friends and family. So I really had no use for it until now, but I've started to look into these. And I believe the old deprecated version was something called Plex Pi, and that is no longer around. They're no longer updating it. So Tautulli, Tautulli, if you go install this Tautulli, it is an app that runs alongside Plex, so completely separate. And yes, this does work in Dockers. So my Plex runs on a Docker and Unraid, and you can get a Docker for Tautulli. All it needs to do is say you just need to point it and tell it where your logs are for Plex. It gives you this gorgeous user interface. You open up a web browser, you pop it up. Not only does it pull in live who's watching what right now, but the amount of statistics it pulls in is absolutely fantastic. So much detail on who has watched what they're watching, how often. It controls home users. So for me, I have the home account, I have my account, Hannah has an account, controls that. My favorite part about it, Jim, is it reports IP addresses. So that's been one thing that in Plex is hard to get out of Plex is, where are my friends and family watching from? The one concern you have if you share your Plex account with friends and family is that they're then going to turn around and share their account with all their friends, right? And then you've got a bunch of people. So I make it a point every day to go in and check. I can go by user and I can click on that user and see what IP addresses they've logged in from. And if I start to see more than one, because I know all of them don't have it on their phone, they only have it at home, I'm going to maybe give them a call and say, hey, notice you're showing up in California. Are you on vacation? And ask them a question. So some very cool statistics for Plex. I really enjoy it, even if it's just for yourself, just to kind of see how much time you're spending on the server, things like that. But especially if you are sharing your library, it's kind of a necessity, I think, now. If you have Plex, definitely run it alongside.
We've been running Plex here. I thought for a second I was going to get Sarah on it with the Xbox coming in, and we were going to take the computer down and go completely Plex off of the Xbox, which I still have to try. I haven't done that yet. And we decided at the end,
she didn't like it, huh?
No, we were just going to leave we didn't try.
Oh,
we just didn't. Yeah, we didn't try. I'm just going to leave we're just going to leave the box. I did catch her watching Hulu on the Shield, though, which is a step in the right direction. So Still, I think the Shield is the answer out there. Shield runs Plex really, really well, and I still have it back here on a Core i6 or a Core i7. What is wrong with me? There's no such thing as a Core i6. Like
those Core i6s.
I know those pesky i6s that you get from, companies that I can't even remember the name of. So yeah, I'm running on a Core i7 box back here, and it works great. I think I don't know. We decided, well, when I brought the Xbox back here into the studio, that kind of ruined that. But like I said, she's watching on Hulu right now, so maybe there's some hope for that. Tautulli.com, by the way, if you want to get that T, like Mike spelled it, TAUTULLI.com.
I wish I could. Someone's watching right now on mine, and it shows their IP address. I wish I could pop up and show you, because I was not expecting the amazing user interface that it has. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking application. This is not something that's just pieced together. Gorgeous interface. Like I said, I wish I could kind of show it to you, but I don't want to show anyone's IP address. So,
right on.
But yeah, give it a shot. Install it. Like I said, with the Docker, it could not be more simple to play with. And it's a lot of fun.
Cool. No, it's good recommendation. A lot of folks have been trying out Plex.
And two quick things on yours. Maybe wait on the Xbox, if you ever are going to try it as the Plex machine. Wait till Plex updates the live TV view on the Xbox. So on the iPhone and on the web, they've got that nice TV guide when you're searching through. Not updated on the Xbox yet. It makes zero sense. The live TV GUI on the Xbox is terrible. If you're using it just to watch shows, great. And then advice number 2, grab the media remote, so you don't have to deal with what you were dealing with in pre-show, Jim, is turning on that Xbox thing and everything like that. The media remote that has the volume and everything built into it, the best $25 you'll spend if you want to actually use that thing for doing it.
I'm not gonna lie, I have plugged this controller, so I got my Quiet Comfort 35s on.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of quiet in here with these things on.
Yeah.
I don't hear Sarah. I don't hear the TV in there. I have never podcasted with over-the-ear headphones on. So if you want to come out and see this on the YouTube video, this is the only time you'll ever see it. But I've been using them. They plug in nicely to the Xbox controller, and dude, is so great. I just keep them quiet. Like, I don't have to turn them up very loud. So it's just quiet in here, and it's playing Forza quietly is actually pretty great.
I do the same thing. Yep. I put on my headphones, because I go up in the living room, and if you've been in my house, my youngest son, the nursery is attached to the living room. So you can't, once the kids go to bed, you can't really watch anything too loud in the living room. We either have to watch it in the bedroom, or I use the headphones, and I have the wireless Turtle Beaches. So they're completely wireless, and they connect to the Xbox, and they're great for doing that sort of thing.
There's a USB cable or USB port right here on the front of the Xbox, which is great. So I pulled the charging cable out, and it just is always there. So I can, every time I take my headphones off, I can just plug them. Yeah. Just plug them in there. No, it works great, dude. It's super great. It's like I bought those headphones just for for gaming.
No, I'll be very curious. Like, if we ever got on to play, do those Quiet Comforts, do those have a microphone on them?
They do.
And I wonder if the Xbox would pick that up.
I don't think it will. It's
because
it's 2.
So how does the microphone work on the Quiet Comforts?
I don't know. It's a great question.
So it's a TRS, not a TRRS.
It's just 2 on either side.
Okay.
So because when you have it plugged in, it also takes the audio command, just the audio command stop in the earbuds.
Gotcha.
So is there a Bluetooth on the?
There's not.
No.
Yeah, there's not.
That's okay. I got some work to do. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. When you can always use Apple earbuds too. Those work as a headset. Anything with a mic on them that has TRRS, you can just plug into the bottom of that Xbox controller and use it as a headset.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Not a big deal. They're super comfortable and they're great. What we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but you're using a new encryption, or had you been using this before for your Unraid box?
On the Unraid box, I had been using it before, just something I kind of wanted to bring up because I think a lot of people have something like an Unraid box or have a need for Let's Encrypt, but they kind of, it can be a little daunting to get it set up. There are some fantastic tutorials out there on getting Let's Encrypt set up, and you could set up a reverse proxy. And let me give you the use case for it. So if you're sitting out there and like, what's a reverse proxy? Why do I need one? If you have any sort of service running in your home that you have to port forward over to, for example, the classic example is a security system NVR, right? So port 8488 or something like that, you then port forward that on your router to your NVR. And then from externally outside your house, you type in your IP address of your house, colon, whatever, and it goes there. Well, that is not SSL. That pipe is not encrypted, most likely. And so by setting up a reverse proxy in your home using Let's Encrypt, it's free. And basically you port forward, what is it, 443? Is that the SSL port? You port forward port 443 from your router to the box that is the proxy. So in my case, that would go to the Unraid box. It points it to the Let's Encrypt Docker container. And then that Docker container says, hey, I know that, when Mike does something from his domain, so I have a certain URL that I go to, that comes in, and then that box sends it back out to the internal machine that has the MVR on it, and then sends it back out as an SSL connection. So creates that SSS, or I looked down 443 SSL, creates that secure socket layer connection back out. So really start to take this stuff seriously. If you do have a lot of port forwards going on in your home to services that you are accessing outside of your home, you really should run that in SSL capacity, right? Lock that down. It's super easy to do. I won't say, because I shouldn't say super easy. It does take a little bit to get into, but if you have some form of Docker, if you have an Unraid box or a FreeNAS or really anything, I think you could run Let's Encrypt on a lot of different hardware. I've only done it in Unraid. It's extremely easy to set up, and I highly suggest that you do it.
Okay, that sounds good. I've been using Bitdefender box. Comes with an app that gives me VPN here in the house as well. I was doing some,
and if you can VPN in, that's obviously better, right? If you VPN and then you can use your local IP address. That also is another very secure way.
Yeah, and actually, I haven't even. I've been using the VPN here at the home for just if I want to go out. I was doing something the other day with crypto, and I just wasn't necessarily trusting exactly what I was going to do. I think I was going to use an online wallet or something. And so I thought, well, okay, this probably doesn't protect me that much, but I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to turn the VPN on and use it here on this computer. Use it from time to time on my phone. And they have their own VPN servers that take care of all that stuff for me, which is pretty nice. So
that is really nice.
Yeah, I don't have to mess with that. It is $30 a year or something like that. So it was an easy deal.
I mentioned that too when I was talking about Untangle a few weeks ago. That is one of the nice pieces about Untangle, is that setting up an outside service VPN is extremely easy. Also easy to set up, Untangle being its own open VPN server, but connecting to something like private internet access on Untangle is super simple. And then you can also add tags for certain hosts or traffic types that you want to automatically just send through that pipe. So maybe you're doing something that you wanted to do through the VPN and you forgot to turn the app on. You're like, oh no, I've been using my real IP address. With something like Untangle, maybe it saved you because you said, no, any traffic like that, I always send through the VPN. Don't worry about it. And it's super easy to set up through Tunnel VPN app on Untangle.
Yeah, everybody seems to find their own VPN way to get it done. Brian says WAP or MFA for his. And so, yeah, it's one of those things. I didn't use it a lot. And then just recently, I think I've been a little more cautious about it, just in different situations, thinking, especially on my phone, connected to weird Wi-Fi. I'm just going to turn it on.
Yeah.
Type deal.
This all started for me. The SSL started because I started to run Nextcloud at home, right? And for that, you really do want SSL, especially for all the different documents I was sending back and forth back to my home server. And since I had created my own cloud, I wasn't using dropbacks anymore. So that's what got me started with SSL was Nextcloud. And I said, hey, I got this, I got SiteHound running that I'm always accessing from outside the home. I should definitely put that on SSL as well. So it worked out really well.
Does look like the Quiet Comfort 35s do support what's what you were talking about? What's
TRRS.
TRRS.
Tip ring sleeve.
Yeah. It looks like the cable that came with it is just the TRS.
Okay.
So
you can get a TRRS to TRRS one.
And I probably would need the one with the microphone on the piece. In Bluetooth mode, definitely there's a microphone on the side. I'm going to do a little work on that. That seems a little janky that they would build it in that would only work on Bluetooth. So I'm going to do some, for the controller. It does need that ring to get there. So, okay. Well, we'll have to.
You would need the cord either way.
Yeah. If you got an opinion on this, send me an email, jim@theaverage.guy.tv. We'll get the right cable figured out so I can talk to Mike when we're doing the Xbox. Okay. Mike, one more. Gametime app.
Oh, yeah. Gametime app. I just got to mention this one. This is a super quick one, but there's a bunch of apps like this that have come out recently. For me, Gametime and SeatGeek are two different apps that I have started to use. You'll see a lot of advertisements for them. I was wondering if the hype was real. So yesterday, actually, it was 4:00 in the afternoon. I was like, man, that Creighton game tonight going to be against Marquette, which, by the way, I don't know if you're a sports fan. Just Google what happened to Creighton versus Marquette. It was the most ridiculous ending to any basketball game I have ever seen. Creighton was up by 3 with 0.8 seconds left and the ball with an inbound, and they lost the game. So you have to Google to figure out how that happened. Something you'd think would be impossible. Anyway, I was like, okay, I kind of want to go this game. Maybe I'll check out this app. It's a good time to check it out. Jim, I got tickets to the game for $3 each. On Gametime.
Wow.
Now they were the nosebleeds, but I didn't care, $3 each. So Gametime and SeatGeek, the best way to use those is to wait until, if you're willing to wait until about 2 to 3 hours, maybe even 4 hours before game time, you'll get some good prices as they start to drop those just to fill seats. Though there was a fee, so total, I believe it was $16. It was $5. The fee on each seat was higher than the actual cost. So it was actually $8 per seat, $5 per seat fee, but still not too bad. My buddy and I were talking, Jim, we were trying to compare fees on the different apps. We said, anywhere you go to buy tickets, you're going to end up paying fees. So for us, they're all pretty competitive right now. So it really comes back to where you can find the best price on the actual ticket. So for $3 for that Creighton ticket, not a bad deal. So if you're trying to go to an event and you don't mind sitting and they had other prices available too. I'm just saying, if you want to go for the cheapest available seat, you might be able to get some really good prices. So Emmett and I actually went to our first father-son Creighton game, had a blast for $16.
See, once again, you find those, like I would never find that deal. You just, how'd you find it? How'd you hear about it?
I'd seen the app SeatGeek on some commercial. We were down in Nashville, and Nashville for some reason was promoting Gametime app for some of their local teams. So I downloaded it when we were in Nashville to see if there were any cheap tickets. There weren't. They were all sold out. So actually, I'd almost deleted the app because I'm like, this is kind of useless. I downloaded the app. It didn't work down in Nashville. There weren't any seats available. But then I left it on my phone, and I tried it just yesterday out of, maybe there's something good there. And there turned out to be
sure enough
something there. My dad, we nickname my dad Deals, right? My dad always is finding these deals. So they've nicknamed me Deals Junior because him and I are always just on the prowl. We seem to have a good knack for finding these deals.
There it goes. Now I know. It's
so
your
I
dad's
learned from
deal.
the best. Yeah, I learned from the best.
It's your dad's deal.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, now I'm obsessed with these headphones. Okay. So you have to I'll have to try that. I have to give it a try. Although I don't know. I'm not a big event guy. I just don't. I need to do more of that.
And I'm not an event guy. I'm a sports guy. So we're usually going to all the sports. The one thing I was
that's kind of what I meant. Yeah.
They don't. Baxter Arena is not a part of either of those apps. So UNO hockey, anything at Baxter Arena. So some of your arenas in your local towns may not participate.
Okay, good to know. But good way to find. I always like for sporting events. I always like to find the deals when I can. So good stuff. Well, I mentioned the Xbox is in, and so excited about that. The Apple Watch is in as well, Mike. And I've
been excited to hear about what you think about this because I was actually, Jim, I started to get a little worried that I was like, maybe he's gonna be disappointed. So let me know what you think.
Yeah, no, so far so good. I slept with it a couple nights. I have slept with it without it for a couple nights. Am I weird to say that I actually think I sleep better without it? I've been sleeping with that. I've slept with that Fitbit for a while because it had some sleep monitoring on it as well. And I don't, for the other night I went to bed, I put it on the charger and forgot to take it off before I went to bed, and I got in bed and it wasn't on my wrist, and I'm like, well, you know what, I'm not going to get out of bed to get the stupid watch. I slept really good that night. And
I don't think that makes you. I think that's pretty normal. I think I would sleep better without a watch on my wrist. I don't know.
Yeah, I know it. No, okay. Let me just say, I was worried about when I, you got this big old head on there, right? I got the big one, big 44 millimeter, whatever it is. And I was thinking, oh my God, this thing is huge. And I've worn some heavy watches where, I mean, it feels like your wrist wants to just kind of keep flopping over because the top is so heavy.
Right.
This one, and okay, so then I had the Garmin 220, which I don't have down here. I think it's on the charger. That one is ultra light. It's a runner's watch, and it is really light. In fact, it's so light, I thought I'd gotten a knockoff when I bought it in the store and took it out of the case to put it on. I was like, there is no way that they could do this in this light of a watch.
So lighter than the Apple Watch?
So yeah, way lighter. About half. I mean, super light. Okay. Weird, like not natural kind of light. You know, and I kind of got used to it. So when I put this on, I was thinking, when I pull it out of the box and put it together, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going back to a big awkward watch. No, it actually fits really, like it's like it's balanced. It's a weird kind of deal. Not since I've had the band, the Microsoft band. You know, the band weighted that thing all the way around. The heart monitor was on the wrist. The watch was on the top. It was curved. It was weighted. That was actually a really good fitting watch. It was a little awkward design on the top because they had the top curved, but it fit pretty well. This with the sports band, like I have to check and see if it's on. Like I'm like, oh, it's still there. Did it fall off? Oh, did it fall off? I have turned. I am in the process of working on notifications. So I have way too many notifications turned on my phone. My phone sits upside down most of the day if I'm not using it. I don't use it as a notification device. So I just basically cloned all my notifications from my phone to my watch. If it's happening on my phone, do it on my watch. Holy crap. Like I was like, oh my God, okay, this can't happen. Because it was literally buzzing every minute. A very nice, gentle buzz, just to be honest. It's really well done. And so I've been going through the process of finding the notifications that I don't use and getting those shut off. It's really, the Fitbit did a really nice job of only passing through just a few notifications: text, phone call, mail. I think that's it. I think that's all you got. Maybe something else. It wasn't very many. It was great. This was over notification. My fault. Be shutting many of those down. I don't need Bloomberg News.
Right.
And although it has been kind of fun, my family we use Instant Messenger, Facebook Messenger for what we call the family chat, and it goes on all day. Like everybody's just talking all day. Cat pictures show up. Pictures of Charlie show up. You know, just pictures, memes. That's pretty entertaining on the watch because you see everything. And so you can just kind of sneak a peek
without being a part of the conversation. You can just check
what's going on in the chat. So that part has been going really well. But trying to decide on a watch face, what I want on the face. What today I've got stock market. I've got activity. I've got weather. Of course, I have weather. Like I'm a weather guy. You have to have weather. I have charge, and I have the heart rate monitor that's on it. Single best feature for me so far has been heart rate while I've been working out. Incredible. It's like when I had the band, and I could kind of monitor. There's certain things that I do. I am a big fan of knowing what my heart rate is while I'm working out, and the band did that really well. The Fitbit didn't. It didn't have HR, just to be honest. And I'm back to knowing what. Go to the fitness app, hit it, scroll it up, intense activity, boom, let's go. And then it just stays on, and you can see the heart rate's great.
And then have you gone back and looked at the chart? That's my favorite part. Afterwards, you can see like throughout your workout, where you were going up and down, which kind of helps me. Like you said, I'm a big fan of it too. Planning out, how you go through your workout, knowing where you're at your peaks. And oh man, I really wasn't keeping my heart rate up like long enough though, right?
Right. That's
my thing. Oh, I let it drop off. I do something really intense and I let it drop too quick, and then I rest.
Or too far.
Yeah.
Too far down, right? You want to keep it in a range. And when you're in weight loss, if you can keep your heart at a certain percentage high for a longer duration. So not the max. You don't want to go full out max all the time, but if you can keep it in this sweet 75 to 85% zone, and keep that workout extended, you'll burn more calories. It's just kind of the way it works. And so it's really, really nice to know that on the watch. You can kind of plan your workout. Oh, I'm pushing this too hard. Or I was doing some stairs and I had pushed way too hard. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a break for a second until my heart gets down to this number. And then when it got down to that number, then you start it back up again. And so that utility became pretty hard. The most underwhelming thing of it, this is the thing I talked about the most before I bought it, was that EKG. Like, so put it on. It's the very first thing I did. Put it on, set it up, got it working. Then I'm looking for the instructions on how to do EKG. So I'm going on my phone and some stuff. So I do an EKG, hold it for 30 seconds, waiting, let it go. You're normal.
Yeah.
It's
like, oh.
Cool.
It would be interesting to download that and send it off to your doctor, right? Or bring it in to your next doctor's appointment and just have him take a look and, and just to see what he's thinking, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, it's good. I just wanted it to, I was hoping it'd be something.
You're dying. Oh, no.
What are you hoping for?
Yeah,
exactly. What are you hoping for?
You're happy with the result you got, but.
Oh, it was so funny. I was like, oh, well, what do I do now?
Right.
So it's been great. And I did take the payment plan on Sprint and they gave me $100 off. I took the cellular plan, which is $10 a month. So that's kind of a wash in the first year on that. 24 payments, let's see how much, $27? 20? No, that can't be right. I should go look. Not very much a month. It comes out to $300 or whatever when I'm done. And 3 and some change. And I'm okay with it. I'll own the watch when I'm done. And it's a really good, I'm kind of glad I waited to the Series 4.
I was just going to say, you're in a good position having waited to the 4.
Yeah. No, I think for me, that was a smart call. And so it'll be a watch, and I'll probably hold on to my iPhone well beyond its lifespan too. My daughter is purposely holding off on upgrading her iPhone. She doesn't, she's like, no, the new updates kill the battery. Like they're purposely going after the battery, And I'm like, no, Samantha, they're not. It's fine. No, I'm not going to do it. So I update 12.01 or 02 or whatever it is. There's been a new update.
Yep.
And there's been some updates coming out. And that in one of the days, I told her I was updating, and then later my battery was just blazing down. Like all of a sudden I'm at 3%, and it's like 2 p.m. I'm like, what the? And this is during the break, so we're home. I was home for 9 days straight, and so she's like, see, I told you, like they're going after your phone. I'm like, nah. So I shut the phone off, rebooted it, brought it back up, recharged it. It was fine. Like something in the update process had run away.
Yeah.
Something had run away, and it was just fine. So
yeah, my battery power is actually better with iOS 12.
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's been great for me. It's been great with either. I mean, I'm getting really great usage out of that phone. Nice pairing between the two. I've loved being able to hang up phone call people. I get a lot of junk calls.
Yeah.
And
you answered and talked on your watch?
I have not.
That's pretty nice.
I have not.
Yeah.
I do think I'm going to get some earbuds, some AirPods. Is that what they're called?
Oh yeah.
I do think maybe in the spring. I spent a lot of money at Christmas, so it's like slow it down there, big guy. Yeah, I think I'm going to get them, pair them with that'll be a great workout device.
That'll be the best. You'll love it.
Got Overcast working with it, and some other things. And I do bring my phone to work out. I just don't. It just sits on the treadmill. And so to be able to control it from my watch is pretty nice, to not have to pick that kind of thing up. The other thing that's kind of cool is you can take a picture from your watch, right? You can put your phone up somewhere and then dial up the camera app. Yeah. Yep. So I watched probably every video there was on the top 5 things for your Apple Watch, and the top 50 and top 10, and they're all basically the same kind of stuff, But it was really helpful to just go through those tutorials to see what other people thought was important.
The number one thing that I always bring up to people it's actually for some reason not in those videos. I think it's because it's an older feature that people forget about and they just think everyone knows about it, is if you accidentally have your watch on loud, right? And you get a phone call, just put your hand over your watch and that silence it. So that is the silence feature on the watch, is just put your hand over it and it'll silence itself and ignore.
I don't think I've even figured out how to adjust the volume on this thing.
It's
pretty
probably
quiet.
silent. Oh, okay.
I've heard it. I've heard the phone ring and that's it. Although Siri is pretty loud on this thing.
Yeah, if you swipe up from the bottom, you get your menu of
is that where I go to?
You swipe up from the bottom and that's where your Wi-Fi, your cellular, your battery percentage, your airplane mode, do not disturb, and then that little bell icon with the red slash.
That means I'm no sound, right?
Yeah, it means you're no sound.
Okay, so I have no sound.
Yep.
I have no sound. And when I go to sleep, does it turn off my notifications?
It'll mimic your phone. So like I have do not disturb on between 10:30 and 4:45 in the morning, and it will do that. Or if it's on the charger, it won't. So no, you need to set that if you want to.
I did download the Sleep Watch app.
I was just going to ask what app you were using for that, because I have not used one. You asked me, Jim, you had messaged me, said, hey, what do you use for sleeping? And I've never done sleep tracking, but I might try it out just to see. Which app are you using?
Sleep Watch is what it's called. They have a free version of it. The last 2 nights I have not been sleeping, and it knows, because it's been on the charger. So I should talk about that. So I asked you as soon as I got it, I was like, hey, do you sleep with this thing? Like, when do you charge it? They say about 18 hours. I actually think it's more like 20, just to be honest. But which is hugely different than the way Microsoft does things. Microsoft says you get 20 hours of battery life. That really means you get 4. With this, they're like, you kind of get 18. It's probably more like 24, just to be honest. I'm getting really good battery life. I guess it depends how much. Say that again.
I can get 48.
Yeah.
So I get night, and then I can skip a night and be totally fine.
It probably just depends what apps you're using and how much you're using it and some of those kinds of things. Right?
Yeah.
So I put the charger down on the desk, and I thought, okay, there's two times a day I have an opportunity to charge it. One, it's on now. Typically, I'd have it off already. In fact, I'm going to take it off. So I take it off. Charger's right here. Make such a satisfying sound. Make the magnetic connection. It just stays down here. In theory, now 2 nights I've messed this up, but in theory, I'll grab it, take it off the charger. So it'll charge in the time I'm sitting down here. Put it on my wrist, go to bed. I messed that up 2 nights in a row. And then what I'm supposed to do then in the morning, come downstairs, put it back on the charger, take a shower. Then my routine is come back down here after I'm ready to go, pick up the watch plus some other things and do it. So if I can actually stay consistent with that, that might work. Justin says he gets 48 hours as well. And so, and I'm not kidding. I forget where I heard it, but I heard 18. That's what when I was getting the watch out, I heard 18. So I was thinking, okay, so if it's 18, then how do I, so anyway, so far, Mike, so far so good on the watch. Super happy that I got it. It's like, last week we talked about Teslas with Paul. He talked about his Tesla 3. By the way, he heard that it kind of, did you hear last week's podcast? You should go back and listen to the Tesla section because he references you.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard it.
He had heard us talk about the truck.
Yeah.
So you'll have to go back and listen to it. So let's see, where was I going with that? Watch. Oh, so I said I don't see Teslas very often around here in Omaha. And I said as soon as I bought one, then I'd see them all the time. The watch, exactly the same. I never noticed anybody's watch. And now I'm like, oh, they have an Apple Watch. Oop, they have an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
They have an Apple Watch. Freaking, you know what? Everybody I work with has an Apple Watch. I didn't even know it. And they all have Apple Watches.
We'll just get your whole team on the walkie-talkie thing then. And throughout the day, you can just walkie-talkie each other and you guys will be that much more effective.
Even one of my partners in recruiting who I talk to all the time, she has an Apple Watch. I didn't know she had an Apple Watch. So you see these things. I like that walkie-talkie idea. So
yeah, it's a pretty fun app to use if you have people to use it with.
Okay.
And then also, I don't know if you've used it yet. You're not a big Apple Pay guy, are you? Okay.
It's set up, but for whatever reason, I don't use it.
So it's just that much easier on the watch. Okay. I love it. Then you don't even need your phone out. Like you literally don't need to stick your hand in any pockets. Because for me, when I was getting my phone, I'm like, well, that's not really convenient because I could have reached back and got my card out. You know, like if I was reaching into a pocket to get something, but now with the watch, if it's there, I just
what do you do to set it to get it?
if you just hold it, well, you can either double tap the long button, and so that just opened up my card, or if you get the front close to the NFC, it'll pop up on its own.
I got it.
And the great part about that is you don't need any sort of authentication, because as long as you've unlocked your I don't know if you noticed, when you unlock your watch the first time, it stays unlocked until it comes off your wrist.
Right.
So as long as, so then there's no need to do the face thing or the fingerprint thing, whatever it is.
Right.
It's a great way to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. Yeah. Lots of new things on there, and it was a good call. I'm glad I got it. I'm super happy with it. So far, so good. And we'll see how it goes.
I bet. Have you done any outdoor bikes or runs with it?
No, not yet.
You'll love that.
Yeah.
Leave your phone, because you got the GPS and cellular. You can make or receive calls once you get those earbuds. You can do GPS tracking. It'll do, all with that watch. I know you've had that in the past with your Garmin, but super easy, and how seamlessly it syncs over to your phone. As soon as you get back, you can look at the map and everything like that. Really cool.
No, it'll be great. I'm like it so far. I got it last weekend, put it on, tried it, then immediately went into the week from hell. It's just been, not really. It's actually been a great week. I've just been working till 8 or 9 or smoking cigars till 11 each night. And so tonight is actually the earliest I got home at 7:15. And we like I said, we got a bunch of folks in from out of town. It's just fantastic. I love to spend as much time with them as I can. That just means I haven't been working out. So I got to get back on it. I'm climbing 40 flights of stairs here pretty quick within a month, and I better get my butt in gear to get it done. Mike, one more thing before we go. How are we doing on time? Yeah. So the original Xbox sitting right here. If you're watching the video, it's up on the shelf right next to the humidor.
The original Xbox too, not even the 360. This is the original, the OG Xbox.
2001. I don't know why I kept it. I just did. It was one of those kinds of things where I'm like, darn it, I'm going to hold on to this thing. I started it a couple times just to see if it works. It sure does. Still works great. Fired it up. And I was like, I wonder if you can mod this thing. Like, because I remember in the day there were mods for it, and you had to do all these things, stand on your head and tap and solder and some other crazy stuff. And I never wanted to give it that much effort. So I looked up a few videos, and they're like soft mods. And so I watched, 3 or 4 videos on soft mods, and you can actually do everything now on an Xbox except change I think if you're going to change the hard drive out, you've got to hard mod it. You got to do something on the inside to get it hard modded. But the soft mod really just required a Xbox cable. So you would get this Xbox to USB. And then on the end of this, you can see it's just a really old 1 gig SSD. The older, the better, because some of the newer ones have some stuff on them where the Xbox can't even read them anymore. The older ones do. So you just plug this in like you would on the controller, plug it in, fire it up, go to the system section, find the memory. It'll find the card. It doesn't recognize it. And that's good. Then you format it, putting the Xbox format on it. Pull it out, put it in your computer. It'll say, oh, you want to format this? And you say no. And then there's some tricks. We won't explain those there. You got to put a little software on there. You got to do a little hack. You have to have Splinter Cell or Mech Assault. You go in there and go into their settings, and then you can get a Linux. You can do it almost like a Linux boot. You move these things in, and it mods the control panel that you would get. That green control panel that had the 4 sections on it?
Oh, yeah.
It brings back memories. I'm not going to lie. It brings back some
Halo memories. That's what I used to play on that Xbox with Halo.
Hey, there were save games on this thing from 15 years ago from my boys still.
Oh, wow.
In there. Yeah, like let's see, NFL football. Oh, you have 2005.
Oh, yeah.
We got 2000 Madden 2005.
NCAA used to play on that thing.
Oh, yeah. So Phil played it a lot, and so I was seeing the boys' saves in there. I deleted them all. I was like, yeah, you're out of here. And so I have a brand new launcher on there that will support emulations. So now I did all of this, Mike. I did it all. And then I said, okay, sweet, I can start doing the emulations. Well, apparently Nintendo cracked it down this summer on all these emulators, because you could put the emulators on and then get ROMs of all these Nintendo games for Switch and for all of them, right? And Nintendo said, no, worky. We know likey that. And started putting a lot of these sites that hosted these ROMs. There was an ISO site and some other ones. kind of on no, what's that phrase when you put them on notice? Thank you. They all shut down. And so I was going back reading because I was following YouTube videos from spring, and they were like, "Oh yeah, go to this site and get this done." And the site was gone. And I'm like, "What's going on?" So I started reading all the notes, and I'm like, "Oh, Joe, if you know a guy," so to Joe, he says, "I might know a guy."
We have the correct chat room for this problem, Jim.
Yes. So I kind of chuckled, to be honest. When I got to this point where I'd modded the Xbox, it was late. It was like 2 a.m. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go find ROMs and emulators right now, but I will. Joe, you know how to get a hold of me. So I at that point, I haven't had time to go back. So I always forget, oh, good, a time for another project. Like that will be another Sunday, which will be great. But I told you in the pre-show, I'm like, even when I get those games on there, I don't know if I'm going to play them that much. Like, I want to do it. And I'm going to play them a couple times and then I'm going to show them to the kids. I'll be like, look what your dad did. And then I don't know if it'll really get played that much.
It's the same thing like when we did that with the Raspberry Pi.
I know.
We had a guest on there talking about turning that Raspberry Pi into a little gaming box where you could throw on the emulators. And remember, like during the show, Jim, I was doing it. I was all excited. I played it maybe twice after that, but it was the fun project of going through and doing it. It's the fact that you can do that to an old Xbox.
Way more fun.
Oh yeah,
way more fun. No, so I was going to replace the. I was going to replace the hard drive. So I told the story in the beginning where I was going to buy an IDE drive, and I ended up buying a SATA drive, and it was broken, so I had to ship it back. And then I was thinking, I don't really need to do the hard drive, but it's too late. I'd already ordered the Molex. You need a Molex splitter in there. It's still Molex connections to those. So I have a Molex splitter that I paid $3 for on Amazon that I probably won't use it. I don't know if I'm going to take this thing apart and do the drive or not. You got to do some trickery on it and some other things. And so, but thinking about it and planning for it, way more fun than actually doing it.
Totally agree.
Like going to eBay and finding a 300 gig hard drive for $16. You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get Molex for $3. Oh yeah, no problem. I think this was 12. This Xbox to USB, and I'm sure there's other things. By the way, if there's anything else you can do with this Xbox to USB, or maybe you have an original Xbox that you want to soft mod, and you need this cable, just let me know, Mike. If you need it, I'll bring it by.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I might give it mine.
Should I bring it by so you can?
I got to get the Xbox from my parents' house. Mine is also my parents' house. So.
Okay, well. Okay, so I'll hold on to this for you, but we'll maybe make it a community thing. If you got the original Xbox and you want to give it a mod, you don't need much to get it done. It was a ton of fun to do that. I don't know. I watch videos and all these YouTubers, and there's a whole underworld of people who sell these boxes already modded right now, and you can get it. Like there's tons of them still.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. Just sell it.
Yeah, maybe I should. It's like I have no emulators on it, but it's modded already. There's a whole underworld of this, like illegal activities and people like Nintendo threatening lawsuits.
I live in the world, Jim. No,
I know. No. So good stuff. Like I said, if you're interested in doing that, let me know, and maybe I can get that cable to you. So we'd love to hear your stories. I'd love to hear your Xbox or whatever your game system hack. I still have a Nintendo Wii, the original Wii that I just remember this. I pulled all that crap out and set it on the floor in the living room because I was going to move it back here. I never did. It's still sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
All the cables and the Wii.
Sarah's up there looking at me like, Jim.
When's this guy going to take this crap out of the living room? But if you've got some stories, you got some modded stuff, you got some pictures, this would be perfect for the Facebook group. If you've modded your gaming system, done it that way. Love to hear about it. Send us an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. You can just drop it on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/theaverageguy. A couple reminders before you go. If you want to send me an email, I will admit, if you're a regular listener, that I have not done the software yet to connect the phone to Fitbit. I think it's a $6 app that gets it done. I just haven't done it yet. So need to download the app so I can get back in the Facebook groups. A few of you, Ryan, you included. I think is he out there tonight? No. Ryan sent me a note. It's like, hey, let's connect. And I'm like, hold on. I need to get things back. The Fitbit I got passed down to Sarah. So she's going to use a Fitbit on her phone. But if you're interested in joining us on Fitbit, there's still the Average Guy group going on out there. Jim at the Average Guy will get you added to it. And Ryan, I'll try and get that set up so I can get you added as well. Don't forget, you can support us on Patreon. Just head over to theaverageguy.tv/Patreon. It's where we post the post-show crypto. We'll talk a little crypto tonight here at the end, a little bit of news on that as well. Theaverageguy.tv/Patreon. Get you there. You can support us while you're there, or you can just listen. That's okay too. Both audio and video are out there as well. Don't forget, well, most of you have subscribed, but if you haven't figured out how to subscribe, get that done. Don't forget theaverageguy.tv, both web and media hosting powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and trust. Christian pays me, by the way, just to say it just like that, too. People that you know and trust. That's some great stuff. For more information, head over to maplegrovepartners.com. I think he has plans that start as little as $10 a month, and it gets you a lot. A little gets you a lot on Maple Grove Partners. So we appreciate their sponsorship of the program. And don't forget, you can get the live app as well. HomeGadgetGeeks.com. Get that thing downloaded. It's free. Just put it on your phone so you got, or put it on your watch. Could I put that app on my watch? Could I put
which one?
The Home Gadget Geeks app. If I put it on my phone?
Possibly. I don't think those have I mean, you can control the playback from your phone once you start the app.
Once I started off the phone.
Yeah.
I have to give that a try. See how that goes. You can get that done as well. My kids are gone, so HelloFresh is back to 3 meals a week. We have been, man, I tell you what, we got super creative with HelloFresh over the holidays because we had ordered 4 people meals, and there was just 2 of us at some point, and then we had some 2 people meals, and there was 4 of us. So we had to add to it. Actually, it was super easy to do. Sarah, we made some burgers. We did some cheese. We put Monterey Jack cheese stuffed inside burgers, and then like a little onion sauce that we kind of made like that to go on top of it. Now, and then she added. Okay, so this is a great thing about HelloFresh. It didn't come with bacon. We added it. So, like, we get up there and she's like, "Yeah."
Once you get in there.
She's like, yeah, didn't have bacon, but I added it. Don't feel bad about it. So I was like, all right.
Like, I won't. I definitely won't.
I know. So we had, man, they were super good burgers. And so it's just been, it just continues to be. I got 3 HelloFresh empty boxes sitting with. I'm starting to save up some boxes for the move at this point. So they not only is it great food, they send some kick-ass boxes. Like, they are really good boxes. So if you want to give it a try, there's a link on every single modern post, let's say maybe since the summer, or you contact me, Jim at theaverageguy.tv. I can send you free meals. I still have about 3 or 4 free, completely free. Your first week is free. Like, you paid, well, I don't want to say nothing, but it's like $5. So you can get 3 2-people meals. And if you're worried about the kids, let them eat mac and cheese. I'm just saying, like, it's super. Make them hot dogs. Adults should eat better food. Let me just put it that way.
That is true.
Mike, I know you're because you're eating mac and cheese 3 nights a week because that's what the kids eat, right?
They're big fans of grilled chicken. We have grilled chicken and veggies for most of for a lot of them.
Sounds good. Well, but if you're caught in that parental trap and you're just eating like plain foods,
you will,
because your kids only eat plain foods. Let them eat plain foods. You should eat adult food. I'm just saying. Give it. Let me know. We'll get you on. We'll get you on HelloFresh, and I think you'll like it as well. Or try any of those. Just to be. Paul had told me, Mike, at the end of the show last week, I was getting ready to wrap, and he actually brought up HelloFresh. He was like, he thought I was going to end the show and not mention it. Like, he's like, he has actually tried them all. He's doing Blue Apron and whatever Chef, and he wanted to try them. He's trying HelloFresh. He wanted to try them all before he made it because he's thorough that way. Like, you'd expect
what's been his review so far? How many had he tried?
I think 3.
Okay.
And he hadn't made a decision yet. So
gotcha.
I don't care. Whether it's HelloFresh or whatever, I don't care. Just eat some better food. God, my whole life has changed. Like, I look forward to dinner. It's like, I kind of wonder what kind of goodness I'm having. I've eaten out every night this week, but it's like, wonder what kind of goodness is home tonight.
Yeah.
So let me know if you want to do that as well. And then, of course, we have a new site for swag. And I need to get with Addie. She's been busy with the holidays and such. But coming up with some new swag available for you. Just go ahead and get those bookmarked so that when I have it ready, you can go out there, theaverageguy.tv/swag. Right now, the shirt is out there, but we've got some long sleeve and maybe some hoodies coming. Addie is working on a 2019 logo, so there's something special for that. So get it done. It should be a bacon logo. That would be.
Yeah, totally should.
How would I do an AverageGuy.tv logo with bacon?
Someone out there has the skills to get that done.
Somebody. Yeah, if you think you do, send it to me. Addie would not mind that, although I think she's coming up with her own. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. I want to thank you guys who came out tonight. Good to see you, Michael and Joe and Justin and Brian and other Jim. Great to see you guys out here tonight. Stay around. Don't leave. Okay, it hurts my feelings when we go into the post show. And I know it's crypto, but just don't leave.
Whipping out the guilt trip to get him to stay around.
I get it. It breaks my heart. I get empty inside. So don't leave. We'll be back here next Thursday. With that, we'll say goodnight.